It's not shocking that cybersecurity and fraud would be cited as more important than the interest rate risk and credit risk in 25. Not that those aren't important, but they're predictable in this world as the economy ebbs and flows, interest rates ebb and flow. I feel like the institutions understand how to respond to that. The cybersecurity and the fraud that's coming out is unpredictable. They don't know. It changes all the time. And therefore, I think it's a bigger concern for the management team and the board of the banks. Probably the most pervasive blind spot we see is one of education. Great business people, great community people. They're not technology and cybersecurity people, so they don't understand when you talk about deep fake. I call it kind of the peanuts syndrome, where the teacher's just kind of a wah, wah, wah. And I think that's what they hear from their management team a lot of times, because they don't understand it and they don't want to say, hey, I don't understand it, because they're very smart people. So they put trust into their management team to a certain extent, but maybe not the extent that the management team needs. As it relates to the check fraud and the elder fraud, I think the boards need to take a more active role in the engagement of management and how to not only prevent that from the institution side, but educate their customers on the types of fraud that are out there and what to be aware for. You used to be able to wash a check and do it one time. Now they can digitally take a check and reproduce hundreds of them in minutes. And on the elder side, they're more susceptible to the technology issues, the deep fake, the voice, the video, and it puts them in an uncertain spot where they want to do the right thing. And so they answer that phone call or they click on that email, and then all of a sudden they've been defrauded. And the first place they go to typically is their bank to say, hey, what happened to my account? I think the boards need to do more outreach to their customers, more educational pieces, more email blasts, things of that nature, so they understand what's going on in the fraud and cyberspace, and it will help them prevent it. I think in today's market, a successful deposit and pricing strategy isn't very dissimilar from the approach the institutions have been taking. Garner the business relationship, pull in the business and the personal deposits. Don't worry about that single personal deposit that I have unless you believe that relationship has an opportunity to grow. If they continue to move down that path and find those areas where they can build multi-tenant relationships, so to speak, I think the strategy will be beneficial for the institutions moving forward. To drive more loan demand in the CRE and C&I space, institutions are going to have to get creative. Rates are going to fall maybe a little bit as predicted this year. I don't think they're planning on any increases, but when you're at 7 and people are at 4, refinancing isn't really the avenue to go after to generate new loans. I think the institutions are going to figure out how to partner amongst their client base to do bigger projects, figure out how to participate with peer institutions to do bigger projects that they normally wouldn't be able to go after, and find those spaces where interest isn't as big an issue for executing the deal and conducting the construction project and working on those types of opportunities. Credit risk in 2025 shouldn't be a huge struggle for the institutions. They've been down these roads before: economic ebbs and flows, presidential changes, interest rates are where they are. People, if we enter a recession, are going to be looking at losing their jobs and how do they make their bills. The institution should be able to look back to 2008 and other eras and go, what were the catalysts that caused us to have credit risk and loss exposure, and figure out how to start shoring up their portfolios to address those concerns.